Let's begin now.
What's up everybody, Grant here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Mate 9 Pro. So we're going to unbox it, we'll do some quick comparisons, especially to the Mate 9. We'll check out the camera, all that good stuff, so let's just get into it. And off the bat, having already unboxed the Mate 9, this box is already smaller, so let's really quickly take a look at the box comparisons. It's obviously smaller. So if we can get that in shot there, it's a little bit smaller there. You can take a look. So it's interesting, it's already a smaller phone, it gets a smaller box. The boxes are a little bit different textures too. This is more matte, this is a little bit more shine to it, a little bit more texture. You got that circle on the Mate 9 Pro, but just a quick difference between the regular Mate 9 and the Mate 9 Pro box. Slice that open. So also, this is not officially available in the US. I had to import this thing. That costed about just under $830. So definitely more expensive. That's about $230 more than the regular Mate 9 right now. And the Mate 9 is being sold officially in the US, so you'll get that official US warranty on the regular Mate 9. You won't get that here on the Mate 9 Pro. But given how good that Mate 9 Pro looked when I first saw it, I had to get my hands on it, do a comparison to the Mate 9. So we'll see if it's worth that extra 230 bucks right now. But let's open the box. And boom, there it is. Beautiful. So already that shine is reminiscent of some other phone, which will, actually let's take a look at that right now. I gotta know, as soon as I saw this, does that not look a lot like, well, people are gonna say the Galaxy S7 Edge. I really thought this looked a lot like the S6 Edge Plus. So there it is on the front, shiny glass front. You can see that it's gonna pick up a lot of fingerprints. There's the back, but the back is metal, so let's just take it off already. So take a look at that. So the back, unlike the Galaxy phones, is that Huawei metal. So it's more of a shiny, brushed aluminum looking kind of metal. And it's not really slippery, but it's not that cold aluminum. It's got a shine to it. It's got a bit of a, not slippery feel, but not your normal matte feel to that aluminum. So it picks up a little bit of fingerprints there, but not nearly as bad as the glass. And let's take a quick look. That's the obvious comparison. People would say, well, it's a 5.5 inch display. It's going to compare a lot and look a lot like the S7 Edge. So that's the S7 Edge from the front. You can see it's already taller for being the same 5.5 inch display. It's less rounded off on the corners from the S7 Edge. There's your side profile comparison, top and bottom. There's the rear. That's the Injustice edition, obviously, but you can kind of then see that glass back versus that metal shine back. Dual camera setup. So, but what I really thought this looked a lot like, and already I gotta keep shining this thing up, is the S7 Edge. Or I'm sorry, S6 Edge Plus. So there you go. S6 Edge Plus is a 5.7 inch display. They're kind of almost the same size though. But that compares very favorably, maybe because I have it in the gold color here, but even the corners and the edging is a little closer than how it is on compared to on the S7 Edge. The S6 Edge Plus isn't as rounded, so, and it's only rounded on the front primarily, heavily, not so much in the back. So it really, to me, compares favorably to the S6 Edge Plus. You like the S6 Edge Plus design, that's what this Huawei Mate 9 Pro is going to resemble more to me. There's that glass back that's picking up all those fingerprints versus that metal back. So sorry, I had to get that out of the way. That was the very first thing that I noticed when I got this thing, and I really wanted to do a comparison because it really seems similar. So there you go. But all the box, the Mate 9 Pro feels really nice, feels really solid. I like that metal back versus the glass back. It comes with a pre-installed screen protector there. You can see it. These are typically grease magnets. It's going to be hard to find a tempered glass because this has a curved screen, so we'll see if we can do that. I might just rock it without one because I've not been having much luck with tempered glass lately. So let's run through the specs really quickly for all you spec heads. So out of the box, this should be running EMUI 5.0 on Android 7.0 Nougat, which, by the way, I love way more than EMUI 4 on Marshmallow. Go check out my Mate 8 video for all those reasons why, but bottom line is EMUI 4 was a lot more iOS-like. EMUI 5 really corrects a lot of that stuff, so I'm really feeling EMUI 5. So I'm glad that's running out of the box on the Mate 9 Pro. It's got a 5.5 inch Quad HD 1440p AMOLED display, so the Mate 9 is going to have that IPS display, 1080p. This has that Quad HD at 5.5 inches. It's rocking the Kirin 960 octa-core processor, so 4 cores are running at 2.4 gigahertz, the other 4 at 1.8 gigahertz. This has memory options in 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage, but this model here, what I got is the 6 gig of RAM and 128 gig storage option, so that is going to compare pretty favorably to the higher end OnePlus 3T. So if you want to see comparisons to that, let me know. The front camera on this is going to be an 8 megapixel f1.8 aperture, can record up to 1080p. The rear cameras here, the dual Leica branded cameras, one at 20 megapixels, the other at 12 megapixels, f2.2 aperture. It's got optical image stabilization, OIS. It has that features 2x zoom. So we'll check out that 2x zoom to see how that compares to the iPhone 7 Plus's 2x zoom. Phase detection and laser autofocus, dual LED flash, records up to 4K. So same cameras as featured on the Mate 9 supposedly. You've got dual stereo speakers, so one's going to be at the bottom here, the other is supposed to be in the earpiece. So that's cool, it's got stereo speakers at least. You've got USB Type-C on the bottom. And it features Huawei's supercharging, so we'll test those charging speeds as well. You've got your headphone jack, so again, I like that you can fit the headphone jack in something so slim and sleek. But overall impressions is this thing looks hot. And I normally don't say that about phones. It feels kind of weird, but you know, there are just some phones that when you pull out of your pocket, you just pull out of your pocket to take a look at it. And this is one of those phones. You just want to pull out of your pocket, show it off, and sometimes you just want to look at it because it's just that nice. And so even though it is reminiscent of those Samsung phones, I like that design. I love the curved glass design. Even though it's not really functional, I like it. I don't get false touches. I figured out, I guess, a way to hold it. It doesn't feel unnatural to me, so I love the look of that curved glass. This phone is just really good looking. In the meantime, let's kind of, I know it's hard, but let's kind of put it to the side. Let's check out the rest of the box really fast here. So same as the Mate 9, you've got this Huawei design there. If we peel that off, we've got 2 boxes labeled 1 and 2. Do we want to follow the order? Well, let's look at 2 first because it's easier to pull out. It should have our headphones, our SIM ejection and charging. So let's take a look. So it just folds open like a book like that, and there you go. So here's the charging brick. That is going to be your Huawei supercharging brick. You've got earphones, reminiscent of some other earphones which you won't name. But that's cool that they give you some. And your USB Type-C charging. So there you go, USB Type-C charging cable. All that in there. Nicely try to keep that away. And in box number 1, we've got probably, seems like a case. They normally give you a case, SIM ejection tool, and some pamphlets and paperwork. So let's take a look. First off, there's that paperwork. Mate 9 Pro. In, of course, Chinese. So that's not going to be very helpful anyway. Here is your case that they give you included. So it's a frosted case, and it actually has all around, so this is cool. It's like a frosted case that actually has edge protection here. So the other one for the Mate 9 was just a slap-on back case. Didn't protect any of the sides or bottom or anything. This is a very thin case, so if you like thin cases like me, this is cool. And it actually has some side protection there, so real quick if you want to see what it looks like, there you go. So from the front, very slim, you can't really tell that there's much of a case on, no bottom protection on the side pin. Top is protected though, so is the left side. And there's what it looks like on the back. So you can kind of see that frosted on look, protect from any kind of smudging, scratches, so that's cool. So that's the case. And there is your SIM ejection tool. Put that on the side for now. along with the box. And let's take a look at the phone. So really quickly, let's see if we can bring in the Mate 9 here. So that's the regular Mate 9. So really, what is so pro about the Mate 9 Pro? So quick comparison here with the 9. It's a slightly smaller 5.5 inch display versus the 5.9 inch display on the Mate 9. But as I said before, the Pro is a Quad HD 1440p AMOLED panel versus the IPS LCD 1080p panel on the Mate 9. Now, the Mate 9 panel is very nice for 1080p, but it's cool that you get AMOLED and Quad HD in the Pro, so that's definitely a pro feature. You also get higher memory configuration options with the Pro. So I've got the 6 gig, 128 gigabyte storage variant here versus the 4 gig and 64 gig option, single option here on the Mate 9. So that's also nice that they offer that in a Pro model. The fingerprints should be about the same from what I hear. This is just a scanner, it's not a click button. So it is just a scanner, except it's front mounted obviously versus rear mounted here on the regular Mate 9. The Mate 9's that circular rear mounted versus the oval front mounted on the Pro. So we'll test those out, see if there's any difference there, but that's the one slight difference in where they're positioning. Also, there's less color options, I believe, in the Pro. The Pro only comes in this gold color, which looks really hot, and the gray. And normally I like gray, but I like the gold in this. It shows it off a lot more. And I also liked it in the gold color in my S6 Edge Plus, so this looks really nice here on the Pro. The Mate 9 only, I believe, also comes in additional colors like silver, mocha brown, white, and black, so you get a little bit more color options. I think in the US there's only a couple of color options though on the Mate 9, but internationally you get more color options here on the Mate 9. Otherwise, they are both rocking the Kirin 960 processor, upgraded from the 950 in the previous models. The Kirin processors are really fast. I'm not really sure how much more you're going to get out of the 960 because the 950 was really already fast, but you've got that here in both. They both have that same dual Leica branded cameras on the rear here. They both feature 4,000 mAh batteries. Will the Mate 9 Pro's battery last as long as the Mate 9, given that the Pro has that QHD panel? So we'll find that out. They both feature USB Type-C on the bottom, as well as a headphone jack. It's bottom mounted here and top mounted here on the Mate 9. So I like that. I like a bottom mounted headphone jack. So that's cool here on the Pro. But that's just a quick comparison. You can see there's height, side, rear, and we'll give you the top. So quick comparison to the regular Mate 9 from the Mate 9 Pro. We'll go ahead and we'll try to run through a boot. We'll get through the setup, all that. So here we're at the fingerprint setup, so let's see how fast it is to set this up. So fingerprint sensor on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. And this one's a lot more finicky to set up. The Mate 9, I didn't have to adjust my fingerprint so much. So I think it would have been just as fast if I didn't have so much of that, if it wasn't asking me to adjust the fingerprint so much. But I didn't have to switch around my finger that many times on the regular Mate 9. I think it's probably because of the shape of that scanner. So, but otherwise, still a fairly quick setup. Let's launch into EMUI 5, and here we go. So this is EMUI 5. Off the bat, the display looks really nice. Let's pull it down so you can see here the pull down for the notification and quick settings, very much like stock Android or more Android-ish here versus the dual pull down, one for settings, one for notification in the EMUI 4. I really like that. So let's check out the display. So that's how dim it gets. And that is super bright right there. That's beautiful. That definitely looks better than the Mate 9. The Mate 9 looks good, but first impression wise, I mean, this is just my impression, guys. I could be totally off, and I could have a bias because I really like this Pro design. But hey, it really looks brighter to me, so we'll take a look. Actually, why don't we just take a look now? Let's finally try to pull it in here. There we go. So Huawei Mate 9. So at its, if I can stop fumbling with two devices here, there we go. So that's how dim it gets. It looks like the Mate 9 on the right gets dimmer. Probably because it's LCD versus AMOLED, but let's crank that all the way up and crank that all the way up. And there you go. Yeah, this panel definitely gets brighter. I'm not sure if it's because of the background, but it definitely looks brighter to me. Maybe not fair because it's not the same background, but if I'm looking at it just in first impression, it definitely looks brighter. So if we go into the settings here, just like Android Nougat, because this is running Nougat, you get some of the suggestions at the top of what you might want to be setting up. If we go into here, also with the home screen, we can select to get back our app drawer. And there it is, so there's your app drawer now. We head back into settings. Here are some display settings here, so you can adjust color temperature if you want. This looks pretty good to me, we'll just leave it. View mode is neat because here you can adjust how big it gets, and it'll require a restart, but there's your large, medium, and small. So if you want to adjust the sizing, that's also cool that you can do that. And if you look at the bottom here, so we'll shut that off so you can actually see something. So the bottom here, that fingerprint scanner is just a scanner, and then there you go, two capacitive buttons on the left and the right. I wasn't sure. I saw some videos where there weren't showing any capacitive buttons, or they were saying that there were none, but there they are. They just have no markings because I assume they're customizable. But that's there. Keep scrolling down. Typical other settings, fingerprint ID. So with that, we'll have, let's see, do we have any gestures on this one? No, I mean just unlock screen. There's no swipe down for, there's no option to swipe down for your notification panel. So there's no, let me get back in there. So it doesn't look like there's any fingerprint. Yeah, so there's no fingerprint gesture options on the Pro because it's front mounted versus like on the regular Mate 9 here, where I have the option to, if I swipe down on the fingerprint, it pulls on the notification shade, or swipe up, it swipes it back up. So that's not existent here on the Pro because I guess they figure it's front mounted. It doesn't make sense, but you lose that with the Pro. Smart Assist features are still here, so you still all got that. If you want your floating dock with your quick toggles, you can get that still. Turn that off. Motion control, so flip to mute, pick up, raise to answer a call. All that is on here. One-handed control, voice controls, glove mode, all that's still here on the Pro and EMUI 5. App Twin is here, so if you have multiple accounts on any of these applications, you can run multiple instances of these applications, so that's cool. It doesn't seem like it supports all applications like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., but we'll see as we use it. So quickly look at About Phone. So there you can see EMUI 5 running Android 7.0, Android Nougat. So the other thing I want to take a look at maybe is the fingerprint scanner performance here. So On the Pro, it's front mounted there, and yeah, that's pretty fast. So just quickly touch it and it goes. You don't have to hold it down, just touch it. So all Huawei fingerprint scanners seem really fast. This is no exception. Let's try to time them out here if we can. Yeah, so about the same. Yep. Just as fast, just as responsive as the regular Mate 9. It's just front mounted. Some people may not like the oval because it's less of a touch target than the full circle, but nonetheless, fantastic fingerprint scanner, really fast. Seems really accurate. No problems there. And you can also take a look at what apps come pre-installed here on the Mate 9 Pro. So this is the international version. So what kind of apps do we got here? It's not a whole lot if you look. Not too many. We've got some bloatware, like you've got Beauty Plus, Booking.com. That's kind of weird. CNN comes pre-installed. Facebook, Flipboard, all pre-installed. Facebook's an interesting one. What else we got? Their own Huawei branded apps, Health, High Game. Instagram comes pre-installed. This actually looks like all the same pre-installed apps from the Mate 9, so considering that this is the imported version, that's kind of interesting. WPS Office, so some bloatware, not too bad. I think some of this can be uninstalled, so let's take a look. So Booking.com. Yep, we can uninstall that. So some of these can be uninstalled. So we got rid of Booking.com, CNN. Yeah, so some of these can be uninstalled. I'm pretty sure their own apps probably won't be, but overall there's only a handful of pre-installed apps, not a ton of bloatware. TripAdvisor here, get rid of that. But a lot of them outside of their branded apps can be uninstalled, so that's really cool. Not a ton of bloatware. So that's good to see there. And the last thing I want to check out is the camera. So let's see that dual Leica branded camera. Let's even take a quick picture here. Oh, let's move it farther back for you. Tap to focus. Tap. Really fast shutter speed there. Let's actually try to test it out against, maybe let's take a look at something like the Mate 8. So there's a Mate 8. Same quick shutter. Take a look at that photo there, take a look at that photo there. Now, it won't come through on camera, but because the displays are also different, but there you go. In good light, they both look pretty good. Let's try to turn off this overhead light here. Look at something in a little bit darker light here. So there you can see what that looks like now. Tap to focus, snap. That looks pretty good, right? So, but we'll see. We'll really test it out in real low light. But just for fun, let's try out the Mate 8 here. Tap to focus, snap, and compare. So it'll be hard because the AMOLED display here and LCD display here, but at first blush, they both look pretty good. The Pro definitely looks better. Probably could be because of the display, but Mate 8 not bad. Alright, so that was the unboxing. Quick look at the Mate 9 Pro. We've got some more videos coming up comparing the Pro to the regular Mate 9 here, so if you want to see some of those, leave a comment below, let me know what you want to see. We'll try to compare the different features from performance to camera, see if it's worth that extra $230 for the Pro version here. But on first glance, they're both great looking devices. If I had a choice, regardless of price, just device to device, the Mate 9 Pro I would pick just on first glance, first impression. But that's really going to depend on, I'm sure it'll perform well, I'm sure the camera will be nice, but also will depend on how does the battery hold up given the AMOLED display. We'll take a look at all that, but right now on first impressions, the Mate 9 Pro just looks really nice. Like I said before, this is a phone that you just want to take out of your pocket to look at. So if I had a choice between the Pro and the regular Mate 9, I'd take the Pro all day. Now that opinion could change, so stay locked to the channel. See what I think about the Mate 9 Pro over time, as well as how it compares to the Mate 9. Other than that, if you have any other questions, as always, drop them in the comment section. And thanks for watching, everybody.